Today we're chatting about Sea Cloud. They're a bit different than our other vendors out there, and you and Sue were just on there, so I can't wait to hear all about it.
Yeah. This is a sailing ship, which is again for cruisers maybe a little bit outside what they would normally think their wheelhouse is. It's pretty good.
And that's today on Dream Travel Share Unpacked.
If you'd like to receive an email version of today's show, along with our weekly travel opportunities, click on the link below to join our mailing list. We promise to only send you one email a week every Friday. You can unsubscribe at any time, and we won't share your email address with anyone else.
Most of our clients probably haven't heard about Sea Cloud. Can you give us a quick description?
Yeah, sure. They are new to the American marketplace. They've been in Europe for quite a while. But yeah, people probably haven't heard of them. So they own and operate three sailing vessels, but it's not like a sailing vessel that you would, and I'll get more into that in a minute. This is the best description I have of this product is a saltwater river cruise. So these are like river boats. They are small boats, and they do have sails, and they do operate under sail power for some part of the journey. But yeah, it's more like a river cruise that just happens to take place on the ocean because you can't take a river to everywhere.
The how many guests there are on each of these vessels?
Yeah. So they have three boats, and the first boat is actually called the Sea Cloud, the namesake of the company. And that one was actually built in 1931. So it's coming up to 100 years old, which is pretty cool. Now it's got a long and glorious history that I won't bore you with, but it was originally owned and commissioned by Marjorie Merriweather Post. And if you've ever eaten Post cereal, then you know this family. So then it served in World War II. It's got this long, proud history. And again, coming up to 100 years old, that one carries 64 guests.
Oh,
And then again, in sometime around, I want to say in the 1980s, they became like a passenger vessel again and took people out. Then in 2001, they built the Sea Cloud 2. So the Sea Cloud 2 again, that's 70 years after the original, but nevertheless tried to capture a lot of that same sort of romance, if you like, of the sails and being close to the water and whatnot. That one holds 94 guests. And then in 2021, just in time to sit on the sidelines for 2 years, they built the third vessel, uh,
uh,
which is the Sea Cloud Spirit. This is the one that Sue and I were on, and she holds 136 people.
I love the sizes. Like you're
Yeah.
not fighting with crowds whatsoever on any of these.
No, no. And that's why I say it's a lot like a saltwater river cruise, because again, if you look at a
Mhm.
136 passenger vessel like Sea Cloud Spirit that we were on, that's comparable to many of the river cruise lines in Europe.
Okay. Okay. What type of our clients are a good fit for Sea Cloud?
Yeah, I think, I mean, certainly if you're a tall ship or a sailing enthusiast, then this is a slam dunk for you. But I don't think it's a requirement. So again, if you're, I don't think you have to be a sailor to get a lot out of this because again, it feels a lot more like a riverboat than anything else. If you're a foodie, you would do really well on this one because you are definitely a foodie. Uh, and the culinary experience, the food and wine experience on this vessel was remarkable. And so I think anybody that's a super foodie would do quite well on this one. If you're one of those people that has taken a river cruise or two and says, "Yeah, I like this. I like the number of people on board. I like the pace of a river cruise. I like being busy when I'm on vacation," uh, and are one of those people that are probably not all that excited about a floating amusement park with, you know, bingo games and umbrella drinks. And if you really like the first one and not the second one, then you're a good candidate for this one. This is not anything like a mega ship cruise. This is about as far from that as you can get. There are some similarities to river cruises. So if you've decided river cruises are your bag, and maybe you've done a few of those river cruises, then this is a good choice. And I'm having a hard time describing this, but I would say people that have been everywhere. So, and I'll give you an example of, so in June, we did a Western Mediterranean cruise with Sea Cloud. We boarded in Monte Carlo, we finished in Rome. We have done that stretch of the Mediterranean, the Western Med, I don't know how many times, but it's a lot. Like I thought I'd been everywhere. And so we've certainly been to Monte Carlo, certainly been to Rome. There was only one port. We made a port stop every day, just like a river cruise. and only one of the ports was Ajaccio, I always say it wrong, in Corsica that we had been to previously. All the other ports we had never been to, which is
And
pretty
is that
cool.
because that it's a smaller vessel, so you're getting into unique spots? And oh, that's a good point.
We didn't see one other ship. We saw ships out when we were sailing, but we didn't come into port and have to share it with one other cruise ship ever on that week,
Ah,
not once. I think if you're one of those people that prefers a lecture to a Vegas style production show, and again, we are talking about mega ships earlier, then this would be there is entertainment on board. There's a Steinway piano on board, so there's musicians on board, high quality entertainment, but they don't have the produced shows you often see on cruise ships. So if you prefer that, somebody playing the piano or guitar in the corner, and again, kind of like a river cruise or lectures, then this would work for you. And I think for those, this is going to sound a bit weird, but those that like to be close to the water, we were in a balcony cabin, which is weird that you have a balcony on a sailboat, but we had a balcony cabin on this boat, and on the third deck, and the first deck is underwater. So again, it's like a riverboat, like you are that close to the water. So you can imagine having a veranda cabin on the third deck of a riverboat. That's what it's like, but you're on the ocean. So if you want to be close to the water, it's just way different when you're that close to the water and you leave your door open at night. You can hear it lapping up against the side of the
ah,
vessel, as opposed to being on the ninth or 10th floor in a big floating hotel.
bigger. What was the motion like? Did you find it was a little bit worse because it's a smaller or
Yeah, I think that's a potential. So on our particular case, so again, we were in the Mediterranean, which is generally known to have relatively calm seas in the summer months, which is when we were there. The and no, we didn't. There wasn't any time where the sea was throwing us around in any serious way. But I think that's a serious consideration because it is a lot
Mhm.
different than
Yeah,
being, again, if you're a person that is prone to seasickness, um, this might not be the best choice for you. It didn't affect us, and I suspect they moved the ships around to minimize that possibility, but you can never guarantee Mother Nature.
yeah, exactly. Tell me how Sea Cloud differs from other small ocean ships or cruise lines.
Right. I mean, most obviously, you're dealing with dozens of passengers as opposed to hundreds or even thousands. So again, this is like comparing an ocean cruise to a river cruise. And as you and I quite regularly have conversations with people about that, is that they don't have a lot in common. And an ocean cruise and a river cruise don't have a lot in common. And it's likewise for this. Again, this is more akin to a river cruise, uh, not so much even on a small ship ocean cruise. This is quite a bit different than that. So I think that's for one thing. The other thing, and again, I'm calling this participatory theater. So I know that, what the hell does he mean by that? So we were able to do some things that I've never done on a ship before. So I was allowed to climb the rigging. So
Oh,
yeah, so this is a real sailing vessel. So they've got 40,000 square feet of sails. It's remarkable. And so they've got a whole team of people that go up there and manually set the sails when you're under sail power. And it was calm enough one day, and so they let me and a few other passengers, anybody that wanted to go really, um, climb the rigging to the first crow's nest. The first crow's nest was, they told me it was 30 meters, so 100 feet from the deck. And then it goes up twice as far as that again. So the crew's climbing like
wow.
up to 60 or 80 meters. I got to climb to 30 meters. It's pretty cool. I've never done that on
Yeah.
a they don't have riggings on cruise ships, but this one's because it's a sailing vessel. I got to climb the rigging. The other thing that I was a real memory for us was is that while the ship was under sail, they put out the Zodiacs. So they got Zodiac boats like an expedition ship would. And they allowed us to offload. So we'd get in groups of, what a Zodiac holds, 8 people or something. And while the ship is in motion, we would get off the boat and then drive around the ship while it's under power, like when under sail power. And they called this the photo safari, right? It was really interesting boarding a ship while it's moving, getting on and off a ship while it's moving, and just to
Yeah.
be able to get that close to a ship when she's a masted ship when she's under full power was a pretty cool memory.
What about the ports of call?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned earlier, so our cruise, Monte Carlo to Rome, we visited, our port stops were all in either Corsica or Sardinia. And as I mentioned, I'd only ever been to one of those ports before. I'm not even going to attempt to repeat them because they're all in French and Italian.
Okay.
But it allows you to get into some smaller places that you would just normally not visit. And so I'd been to Corsica before, and if you haven't been to Corsica, it's stunning. And so we got to go to a few different places there. And when you get out, it's smaller towns as opposed to big tourist centers. And we went sea kayaking one day. We went e-biking one day in Corsica. Um, it was just if you'd like to be busy when you're on vacation and really have a real local flavor, it's a great choice.
Oh, fantastic. What's included in their fare in the pricing of the cruises?
Yeah, this is kind of the best part is it's all included. So, your gratuities, it's an open bar. There's some shore activities included. Um, Again, the Wi-Fi on the ship, everything that really happens on the ship, it's all included. The only thing you're going to pay extra for, there's a spa on board, if you can believe it, on a sailboat. Again, consider it like a riverboat, right? So yeah, so there's a spa and a gym and a sauna and whatnot on board. So you could spend extra money on spa treatments, I guess, if you wanted to. The day we went e-biking, that was an additional charge because, of course, they hired an outfitter on shore to take us, and so I forget what that cost, but that was an additional charge. But the other shore activities were included in the fare of the cruise.
That is great. I again, bucket list. So you should see my bucket list. Every time we need it, it kind of gets bigger and bigger. But
It's a
my
hazard of the
husband and I
biz.
definitely are going to get on Sea Cloud. Definitely. I'd love that different experience.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You will not go wrong.
Sea Cloud is our vendor of the month for September. What is our offer?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one because it's a very generous offer. So it's onboard credit. So it's $50 per person per day onboard credit on any Sea Cloud cruise. So if you go on a 10-day cruise, you're going to get a $500 onboard credit per person. So the one we were on a 7-day cruise in the Mediterranean. So on that one, it would be $350 per person. And so
Wow.
that's $700 for the cabin. And as we were just talking about, uh, it's it's pretty much all inclusive, which means you can be totally frivolous with this. So they've got an incredible wine cellar on board. So again, if you're somebody like you, a super foodie, you could use that onboard credit to buy a bottle of wine you would just never ever, buy
Love
on
it.
buy on
And the
shore.
spa, they've got the
Spa,
spa
you
and
could
some of
use.
the extra excursions.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
there's all kinds of things, and so that's kind of the fun part when you get an extra goodie that you don't need. You can just do something you would never otherwise do. So if you're celebrating a special occasion and you wanted to buy a $500 bottle of wine, which is something I would never do, right? But
Yeah.
let's say it's a 25th. Well, if you and Jed end up on board, you're coming up to your 30th anniversary next year. So
Yeah.
there you go. So we'll get you a $500 bottle of wine just so you can burn through your credit. So $50 per person per day is the offer for the month of September from Sea Cloud.
Perfect. That is fantastic. That's a healthy offer.
Yep, and I should say that's only through us. So you can't call Sea Cloud directly and get that offer. That's the perk through our agency and vendor of the month.
What are we going to talk about on Dream Travel Share Unpacked next week?
Yeah, next week we're going to talk about the state of the nation, if you like, in the travel business. So, as you know, I attended Virtuoso Travel Week a couple of weeks ago. I've got lots of interesting stats and other stuff that I learned about. There's some interesting trends that we're seeing in the travel business, and yeah, for whatever reason, people are somewhat interested in this. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week.
Perfect. Look forward to it.
We'll see you then.
Bye for now.
If you enjoyed this video blog, it really helps us when you like or better yet subscribe to our channel so that we know the best content to produce for you. If you want to book a cruise or package land vacation, then we'd love to help you out. We know the products and destinations very well, and we can always get you something not available on direct bookings. Our coordinates are in the notes below. Also, if you haven't signed up for our newsletter yet, you get one email a week every Friday with some commentary and some different deals that we're seeing in the marketplace. We don't share your information with anyone else, and if you decide it's not for you, then we're sorry to see you go, but there's an unsubscribe button at the bottom of every email. See you next time.